G'day all, it's Colin from PC TLC and thanks for joining me. In this video we're going to be looking at FossaDog. I've done quite a few installs on this one. This is another one. So many distros, lightweight distros, you've got to open your mind so much to these distros because you can get caught in the trap of, oh, I'm just booting up, I'm just going to install, just going to do the usual. But these distros are far from it. And FossaDog I've been trying to install and I'm not sure whether it's actually made to be installed. I think it's sort of like you've got to treat the ISO that's connected to the VirtualBox like you're plugging a USB in the slot every time. And you're just going to boot from one of the menus, and I think that's how it works. So it's taken me a bit to get my head around this one as well. It's unlike FossaDog. That one you can install. I don't think you can with this one, as far as I can tell. So this is what we're going to be looking. I'm going to be looking around the desktop, and we're going to be creating a save file. And I'm going to be trying to figure out. I'm going to try and figure out where that save file is getting saved to. So they're the questions I have, and this is what we're going to be looking at. So let's check this out. So we're going to have a look at FossaDog. So this is FossaDog here. See here for changes. So you can see here that the ISO FossaDog 2020 size 565 megabytes. FossaDog 592. You've got some screenshots here of the desktop. What's it using? Window Manager's open box. Okay. So let's check out FossaDog. So here we have our boot screen. Save changes here. If I boot into that, I'll probably boot into the one that will load up all the time. Then you got this one here, which is an always fresh. So it's a fresh desktop every time. So that's what I'm going to do because it's the only way I can demonstrate how to save this file and so forth. And it's booting up in full screen, which is good because I think it remembers that every time. It didn't to start with, I don't think, this one. I cannot remember. Bearing in mind, I'd probably done a lot of these installs on the one day about a month ago. So I just did a whole bulk install, and this is why I have to keep coming back. And what I should have been doing is probably, I thought I was going to be able to create a whole heap of videos and just upload them in a short succession, but that never happened because I got to the point where I was frustrated with not being able to work out what was going on with some of the distros. So they do need to be treated differently, each distro. So that's what was going on there. So I've just decided to completely redo the whole video on some occasions anyway. So we get the keyboard shortcuts out of the box like FossaDog, so let's close that. Now we've got internet and everything, so that's all working. So everything's fine on the desktop. Now we can have a look through this one here. So let's check it out. We've got some audio here, MPV, play with MPlayer, radio podcast, pre-cord MP3, GNOME player. Then you've got some system stuff there. You've got gparted, htop. Now bearing in mind, this was only about 590 something megabytes in size. The things that are installed in here for 592 megabytes just absolutely blows my mind, to be honest, like I said in my previous video. Now it does have the FossaDog full install. Tried it many times. Don't know if I'm doing anything wrong, but I'm not going there. I've had enough of that. Let's just check out what we've got under Office. We've got Abbey Word, Network, Firefox, as root, normal Firefox, Firefox's puppy. Flash Player, somebody needs to kill Flash Player. Why is that not dead yet? Why is that still in a distro? Flash Player, why is it there? Doesn't it die next year or the end of this year? Can we just not kill it off now? It's also got Google Chrome, transmission, YouTube Get, multimedia, MPV player. I've got Dog Radio, Gnome M player, Peasy DVD player, Peasy, P-Easy, is it P-Easy? Peasy? Easy Peasy? Easy Peasy, that's what it is. Easy Peasy DVD player and Easy Peasy X or Burn. Play with M player, VLC media player. YouTube Get there as well. Graphics we have MT Paint, Peasy Glue, Peasy Scale, Take a GIF, Vue Noir. So you've got just about everything out of the box here except for Office Suite. That always seems to be the case. If I'm not mistaken, to install an Office Suite on here is probably going to be not that huge anyway. It won't be like Debian where LibreOffice is 300 odd megabytes. I've noticed in these smaller distros, they can install for a lot less than that. So we've got File Manager, Calculator, LeafPad. So we've definitely got a text editor, Redshift, SearchMonkey, Vim, Xarchiver, Audio Setup. So there's a whole heap of stuff there. If you want to just check it out there. Just leave that there for a few seconds. So FossaDog Special. Clear changes at reboot. Quick remaster GUI. I don't know what all those are. Then you've got some Guinea development. So that's a quick look through what applications we have in FossaDog. We've also got some shortcuts up here. Tint to icons info. X11 recorder. Package manager, that'll be Synaptic, more than likely. Set wallpaper. Terminal. Quick master GUI. File manager. Let's have a quick look at the file manager. Looks pretty normal. Help and about. PCman FM. MT Paint. Text editor, which is LeafPad. Yep. GTK YouTube viewer. Dog Radio, Desktop Manager, FossaDog Installer, Create Save, Conky Toggle, Browse, Audio Setup. And down here, as like you've seen, we've got the menu, Show Desktop, another terminal down there, Composite Desktop, so toggle on a Composite Desktop, Tint to Settings, and then you've got Desktop 2, Desktop 1. And also down here you've got date and time. Scroll volume up and down, and pretty much that's it. What's this one here? Clipboard Manager, brightness and tint, manual mode, and your active internet. You've also got a right click as well. Open box menu, applications there. Desktops there, and some other things there, screenshot, open box, log out. So that's what I'm going to do at the moment. I'm going to log out. I'm going to shut down, and now it's going to ask if we want to save changes in a save file. Okay. So create or use save file. Or use existing changes.dat, or use a save folder. Well, I'm going to use a save file, so I'm going to click OK there. Now, these are the things I haven't really gone too far into. So all of your settings and additional software that you install will be stored within the save file by default, so it can become quite large if not managed. I suggest you keep all of your documents, photos, etc. in another location. Select a directory outside the actual running file system. Example, inside Mount SDA. Okay, let's have a quick look at the file manager. So I've got SDA here, and I've got a file called changes.dat under SDA, which is the one I've been using. So left click and right click does the same, slightly different menus by the looks of it. Left click, right click. Okay. So please select desired size, name and directory below. Click skip to select an already existing save file. So save file in megabytes. Now it's suggesting that any documents and photos, etc. should be in another location. So inside mount SDA. So SDA, you got mount there, mount SDA. So what's it saying? Inside MNT SDA, which would be here. Okay. So is that outside the running system? Is it meant to be outside the running system? Keep all of your documents and photos, etc. in another location, select a directory outside the actual running file system. Outside the running file system. So if I was to create a folder here called Coles Docs, let's do that. And inside there, we could make some new folders. Okay, so mount SDA, I've made a folder called Coles Docs, and I put those folders underneath, just in case we want to put stuff there. That to me is what it seems to be suggesting, so that's what I'm going to do. Now the save file, I'm not sure how big that save file could get. I'm not even sure how big it should be. Please select desired size. Well, is it a save file as in the application, size of the applications you save, or is it just the size of the information of what you're doing? I don't know what that means. I've tried to look for this. I can't really find. I'm not good at finding this stuff on some of these websites, to be honest. It's fairly hard to chase up. But let's go with, say, 200 megabytes. If it's only like, if it's just like a text file that's just holding the information of what you've done, then it probably shouldn't get too big, I wouldn't have thought. So let's go with 200 megabytes. So directory save file will be created inside. Let's have a look. Other file system, mount SDA1. Mount SDA. Okay, so I see I've done something wrong already there, because if I go back, yeah, they're saying SDA, not SDA1, isn't it? I'll put it in SDA1. Okay. So if we, are we supposed to make a folder or not? So that's in mount SDA Coles Docs. Okay, so we need to be in mount. That's root. We need to be in mount. I find this all very confusing sometimes. Mount, no. Mount, create a new folder called SDA. Let's do that. And then in SDA1, we'll move this. Let's cut that. And go back to mount. No. SDA. Paste. So we should be in mount SDA. So if we're going to make a save file, it should be in file system mount, which is where I put it before, in SDA1. And there's one there already called changes.dat. I cannot select that though. Oh, because it's going to create it from here, isn't it? So changes.dat. Okay, so okay. So mount SDA file system SDA1, mount SDA1, open. It'll create that file there. It's already there, so it'll probably say that. So let's see how we go with that. SDA1 change.dat already exists. Please try again and choose another name. Okay. create save file or use existing example. So they're giving an example. So let's go with 200 again. So it have to be called .dat, I believe. So let's call it Coles saves.dat. Let's go with that. Coles saves.dat, 200 megabytes, and we'll put it in file system mount SDA1. Open that. Okay. Okay. Creating Coles saves. Okay, there we go. So you may need to update your boot options. Changes equals path to save file. So set up mount SDA1 Coles saves.dat created successfully. It will be mounted and session will be saved. You may need to update your boot options. Changes equals path to save file. So is that all we type in the terminal? I'm not quite sure. That's a bit confusing. Let's try that. Changes equals mount SDA1 / Coles-saves.dat. So let's run that. All right, so we got no output, so that must be right. We'll see how we go with that. And let's click OK. That should shut down, saving session. So we've got 164 megs of storage left according to that. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to reboot that again. So we need to go to this one here. So maybe that's what they're saying we need to change. So we need to edit, press the tab key to edit. So this one here needs to be Coles saves.dat. Let's enter that and away it goes. All right, so I'm not really sure whether it's using that file or not, to be honest. So what we need to do is we need to do some sort of install to see whether it's in there. So we don't have Audacity under multimedia, do we? I don't believe. No, we don't. That's install Audacity. I might have been waiting for that internet to connect. Let's try that again. I'll just reload that. And while that's doing that, I'm thinking if we go to the boot file, I'm not sure if it's the boot file or not. Systems and boot. Whether we can find changes.dat in here and change it. Let's just go Control F and changes.dat. See if we can find that. There's no string found for that. SDA1 boot. Let's check. Oh no, not that one. Let's check this one out in here. Control F. Changes.dat. See if there's nothing in there as well. An error occurred. No space left on device. Wowee. How does that work out? All right, so at this point in time, I think we've seen that I've just got to understand how that file system works a bit better. So you can see roughly how that works. It's a fresh boot every time. However, you can save. I'm going to try and work out where those save files go. So I'm going to maybe do that off camera and then come back if I've worked it out. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to boot up using just the normal changes.dat. I'm not going to change anything with that. I've already done that. That's the first thing I did, was just boot up with that changes.dat file. Did a reload on Synaptic and all was fine. So I didn't get out of space or anything like that. So we'll just wait for the desktop to load here. We're also got to wait for the internet to load. And it looks to me like the internet is up and running. Let's open Synaptic. Let's do a reload. No errors. So let's just search for Audacity. Let's install that. mark for installation, and apply. Apply that. See how we go? So I'm just trying to work out here. We have an ISO image and we have an SDA1. It must be running off the ISO and saving everything in SDA1. I don't know what the properties are of SDA1. Here we go. Free space 3.9 gig. ISO 565 megabytes. So if we go to file system, 3.9 gig, that's part of the SDA1, I would think. But this was created as a 20 gig, so I was only just using. So how do we use the space on the virtual drive, or if we was on a computer, how do we use the hard disk space? It doesn't appear to be using that. It appears to be using all the space on the ISO itself. But then again, it was only 500 and something megabytes, wasn't it? So I don't understand how that's working. I really don't. Oh, we got 19 gigs there. Oh, now it's showing 19 gigs. Free space. Oh, why was it showing something different before? Was I looking at something else? Total 19.8 gig. Okay. So I have installed Audacity. Let's check out if it's in the menu. Multimedia, Audacity. So now what we want to do is shut down. Alright, so we're going to reboot one more time. Go down to changes.dat. You also got this one here for no save. And the big question here is Audacity still in there? Alright, I'm a bit confused about what I was looking at before regarding file space. That was a bit weird. I'm sure I was reading that as 565 megabytes. Very strange. Let's just check that out one more time. SDA. 19 gig. I don't know. Maybe I was looking at something else. Oh boy. I think I'm showing my age. So let's have a look at the multimedia, and there's Audacity. So that's holding the saves. So I didn't really need to create another save file. The changes.dat that was existing was good enough. So okay, would I recommend this as something that somebody would use on a regular basis? Probably not. I find this a little bit complicated as far as the way it works. Although it's probably easy, I'm just complicating it more than likely. So we've got the 19 gigs there of the hard drive. Seems to be all installed to there. Not a problem. So you got the changes.dat there. I don't know, when I started using that, everything went funny. So we could probably delete that. Let's delete that and make sure that it's not using that. I doubt whether it is. I'm a bit confused about how to update if you save your own file. So because I think what's happened is I haven't updated. I don't think I've actually updated it to use my own file. I think that's what it is. So that's why it didn't. I would have to think that's why it didn't make any changes. I would have to think that's why it ran out of space, because it actually wasn't using it properly, I don't think. Total size is 4 gig there. Okay. Mount live, mount SDA1 changes.dat. Okay. I honestly think these puppy type systems and all these systems based on BustedDog, Deviant Dog, or they're all based on Deviant Dog, and they're all meant to be like a puppy imitation type thing. I think they all would be very good USB rescue disk, a good USB rescue distro. I think that would be very good for that. But as far as being an installed system and using it that way, BustedDog installed okay. I don't need to keep the ISO in the VirtualBox for BustedDog. So if we have a look at the settings here, in the storage, this has got to be connected all the time for FossaDog. If I disconnect it, I don't get any boot menu. Whereas on BustedDog, I disconnect that, but it still boots and it uses the save file. So this one seems to be running a little bit different to that. Unless it's a bug, I'm not sure, but I would have to think the BustedDog's probably a better option than FossaDog at this point. But this would be probably a good USB rescue disk. But still, what they put in here is amazing, really. You could still run this on a desktop or a laptop or anything like that. It's got plenty of stuff in there, so it's not a problem. You've got advanced settings for tint 2 panel and stuff. Tint 2 config, open box. I've used these before, but gee, it's been a long time since I've used them, so. And oh yeah, the other thing would be Office. So let's just check that out quickly. Quickly going back to here, we have a look at this ISO here. 592, so we've got effectively 308 megabytes to install an Office suite. So let's check it out. I don't know why Synaptic can't go directly to what you've typed. I'm not sure why it does that, because you've got to scroll down heaps. It must be because it's every dependency that maybe comes along with LibreOffice, but the actual install that you're looking for is, you know, way down here somewhere. So I don't know what the deal is with that. Let's just mark that for installation. Mark it. Hit apply and see what we've got. 103 megabytes have to be downloaded. See, they can install LibreOffice with 103 megabytes. Now, I don't know how they do that. Must be, again, it comes down to how they zip up their applications, I would have to think. I'm not really sure, but everything seems to be so compacted in these lightweight distros. They can get away with this being a lot smaller than normal. Amazing. It's still achievable on this. BustedDog, FossaDog, and somebody told me the other day, edit and unmark all. Great tip, thanks very much for that. And then we can close that. So you can easily get away with this. You're still within your 900 megabytes easy, because even though I installed Audacity, that was just to check that it's still booting up and using the save file for that. So it definitely is. And if it was to boot into a new fresh desktop, you'd probably find Audacity's not there. And maybe we'll do that just to prove that. It can work. There's no doubt about it. Are you willing to jump through the hoops? The hoops are only a problem to start with. You're probably not jumping through hoops. It's just, you've just got to, if you're passionate about using something like this, you will go out of your way to learn exactly how it works. And the more you use it, the more you become familiar. That's just like anything. It's like a new job in a workplace. The more you do it, the more familiar you become, the more you become an expert. It's like anything in life. It can definitely work. There's no doubt about that. So let's just shut that down. So we're going to boot that back up and we'll do a fresh, always fresh. So that's the always fresh. Have a quick look and we'll see that probably in multimedia, there's no Audacity. So that's log out, shut down. No, cancel that. So the always fresh gives you an option to use the save file. This one here, it will not ask you for a save file. And then this one here allows you to use the save file. So let's just boot into that one more time and check that Audacity is still there. Let's have a quick look in multimedia and there's Audacity. Start that up, make sure it's there. Audacity and it starts, okay. Just helping about quickly. 2.3.3, okay, done deal. So that was FossaDog. What do you think? I think it's probably best used as a USB rescue distro, or just a nice little distro to have on a USB, just to help others out to access files and folders and stuff like that on a Windows box or another Linux install, or you just can take it on holidays with you and use it anywhere on a small laptop or a device with a USB that allows you to boot it up. And it's an always fresh desktop every time. And you can choose to save it. If you're on holidays and you need those saves, those applications saved there till you get home or however that works, just to get by. So that's the use cases I see for FossaDog. Definitely a contender. Definitely it can be used. There's no doubt about it with the save file and all that. It can work. Is that the sort of distro you're looking for? It's not sort of part of your mainstream install. Your install to this and use your home folders and blah, blah, blah. It seems to be slightly different to that. That's the only thing that sort of puts me off recommending this or saying this would be good as a daily drive. So that was FossaDog. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting and informative. And thanks for watching.